Hello and welcome to this video on interpersonal communication and why on earth is it so hard to communicate with other people. Like seriously. It is so difficult to go through life and just tell people what you want them to know and they get it every time. It simply doesn't happen. And in fact, in a lot of our very important relationships, we find that miscommunication is actually a significant element in the challenges and struggles that people have kind of talking with each other. And the question is, well, why? Why is it that hard? Well, because it is. And there's really not a lot we can do about that except get better at certain elements of it. And because we can only control our part of it, really we can just do the best we can to have clear communications with others and hope that they're going to do their part as well. So what is this thing we call interpersonal communication? Right? What's actually going on when we communicate? What's going on? So essentially we're just going to break it down to its most simple elements and just describe what's kind of going on at each stage when we're trying to communicate with each other. So let's start out with the person who wants to say something, right? There they are, just kind of going through the world, and they've got another person that they want to talk to, and that person's just going through the world, and they need to be able to talk with each other. Well, if that were all that was going on, probably it wouldn't be so hard. But in reality, we live in kind of three different kind of realities going on here, right? This is kind of the inside of me, or the person who is communicating, and this side is the inside of them, right? So automatically we know that we are missing a significant piece of every communication, right? Whatever's going on inside of me when I'm speaking, or whatever is going on inside of them when they're hearing. And then this is kind of reality, right? This is the space in which the behavior happens. Right? So when I say behavior, I mean, like, do we use words? Are we using body language? Are we writing something, right? So these are the observable things out here. So this is public, right? This is a public space. This is a private space. This is a private space. And so when this person over here decides to communicate something, they've got to go from what's in their brain to putting something out into this public space, right? So let's say, for example, somebody is wanting to just simply say good morning, right? So they get up and they see maybe one of their children or their spouse and they say good morning. Now there is a kind of code that we have for that. It's simply the first greeting of the day. However, this good morning comes out not just as words. It's not like a little thought bubble that people see, oh, he said good morning. No, it comes out with a tone of voice, it comes out with a body posture, it comes out at a certain time for this person. And so this person then has to kind of receive this good morning in the context of the way things are at that moment, right? So if we've gotten up super early, and that person is happy to be up that time, then they may receive the good morning as a, yay, we're here together and we're ready to get going on the day. If they're kind of grumpy, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, maybe they didn't want to get up at that time of the morning, right? Then good morning might be an unwelcome intrusion into the haze that comes right after waking up. Right? And so that person may then receive that as just blah, right? Because some people, let's be honest, are just way too chipper in the morning. right? They come up, they're just like, yay, let's get on with the world, woo! And the rest of the household is like, I don't even want to be alive right now, where's my coffee, I haven't even eaten yet, right? And so all of that's going on in such a simple, you thought, oh, he's picking good morning as an example, that would be easy. No! Have you ever been surprised at the response of somebody in the morning to a well-wishing? Right? I was having a bad day one day and went to work out, and we did the workout, and I wasn't looking forward to my day at all, actually, and we came out down past the person who kind of boops your card and says, hey, you can go work out, and he said, have a great day! And I'm like, you don't get to tell me that. I am not going to have a great day, and I don't want the obligation to have a great day sit on me. So no, take that back. I don't want to hear it, right? So like he had no idea. He was just being cheerful and doing his job, and I was in no way ready to receive it, right? And so even such a simple kind of communication can go wrong. Well, why is that? What's going on that gets in the way of even simple conversations? Well, there's something over here called encoding, right? And this person thinks about the world a certain way, processes the world a certain way, is feeling a certain way, engages with kind of what time it is and where they're at and all that kind of thing in a certain way. And so when they encode, when they put together their message, what they're going to send out there, it makes all of those assumptions and it goes through that lens and then it lands right out here. And then everybody else out there has to decode it, right? Which means that all of my lenses, all of my emotions, all of my reality and how I'm feeling about all of this will show up here as well, right? So a good morning, happy, can decode as a yuck, you are annoying, right? I don't want to receive your excessive happiness. And all of that is about noise. And noise is what goes on at kind of those levels of, just what's going on in the physical space around you. Is there music playing? Are there pots banging? Are there children yelling? Or is it quiet and there's birds tweeting gently outside, right? It really matters, actually, how much physical noise there is in terms of how well we're able to see the intent in the encoding when we are decoding what they say or do, right? And so we need to recognize that just the sheer physical noise of a space can get in the way of us hearing each other. And you can think of it as, when you're driving in a car, as the road noise gets louder and louder and louder, you've got to turn up the radio in order to be able to hear it and actually be able to take in what's happening there. And frankly, turning up the volume in a home or in a conversation often feels like yelling. So then that's not an enjoyable thing. So there's physical kind of environmental noise. And probably at some point in this video you'll hear the HVAC system come on, and that might distract you from what we're actually talking about. And that's an example of physical noise. Then there is physical kind of internal noise. And that is simply what's our body doing, right? What are we in pain, right? Do we need to go to the bathroom really badly? Are we, do we have a headache? Are we hungry? Are we physically tired? Are we stressed? Or are we super happy and pumped and totally zippy and ready to go and right? There's a whole bunch of kind of noises that can go on inside of us that are in fact noise, right? They make it difficult to listen. I mean, just think right now, you're watching this video and you probably have some sort of physical internal noise. Maybe you've been sitting too long. Maybe you worked really hard today and your muscles are sore. Maybe you didn't have time to eat. right? There's all of these sorts of things that are going on inside of our bodies, which sometimes make it quite difficult to hear. And that's a form of noise that gets in between what the person intends to say, right? We're encoding our intention, and then we behave that intention as best we can, and then this person has to interpret our behavior without knowing our intention. And this noise, both physical environmental and physical internal, get in the way. And then another layer that gets in the way is stress or kind of psychic noise. So this is the noise that goes on in our brains and in our just stress level, right? Where, you know, maybe we're upset about something, or maybe we're really excited about something, right? Both are equally noisy. Maybe we have had just like a totally hard day. So my example of, you know, that guy wishing me, have a great day, and I'm like, no, that was a stress noise, right? I really wasn't prepared and ready for him to want me to have a good day. And, you know, he's a genuine guy that does it, so it's just like he means it, right? And so then now I feel the pressure, right? I'm just hoping to get through the day without hurting somebody, and now he wants me to have a great day, right? So stress can get in the way of that ability to hear what the true intention of that person is. And even more scary is when we're in a stress space, our minds actually limit the resources available to our thinking, right? We actually go back into kind of our lizard brain or survival space and begin to access primarily stress memories and unhappy memories, because it's preparing to deal with a world that's dangerous. And so when that happens, our decoding goes decidedly negative, right? Because we have many ways of decoding inside of ourselves, but if we're stressed and have a lot of kind of psychic noise going on, we will decode in a negative way, simply because that's how our bodies and our minds are designed. And so we actually have to work harder to manage this kind of noise when looking for the intent in the other party. And so you begin to like look at this and go, oh my goodness, no wonder communication is so hard, right? Because here we are trying our best, and you know, if it's a guy over here trying to communicate, and it's a girl over here trying to receive the communication, we add the fact that it's like a PC trying to talk to a Mac, right? Maybe you're not as old as I am, but in the early days of the internet, you know, occasionally we would get emails that said uninterpretable format, right? Because somebody sent an email in the wrong format, they encoded the wrong way, and it was literally unreadable by the machine that received it. And that actually happens between cultures, between genders, between languages, between all kinds of very complex systems. And so it just kind of makes the point, why is it so hard to communicate even basic things? Now imagine you're trying to communicate something that is way more important than good morning. You're trying to communicate that I'm upset, right? Now you're in a stress brain and you're trying to communicate through this, so you're creating your own noise in the space, maybe by being louder, maybe by using stronger words or whatever, and this person is even less likely to hear your intention, which is to say, I'm hurting, please see that. Right? So the challenge with learning to communicate is the challenge of finding a way to make sure that the way we encode is really easy for the other person to decode in the way that we mean it, right? And that's why we'll be teaching over these videos some skills which are simply about making sure that we're able to communicate well, like in the 5 things I should think about before I speak. That is an encoding teaching, right? It helps you put information out here in a way that's much easier to receive. It's actually designed to manage the noise. And so you can learn those skills so that you get more effective, right? And if we're able to be more effective, then they're able to decode more consistently according to our intent. And that's kind of what makes it worth the effort. All of this kind of goes back and forth. So, right, you get this encoding to decoding, and then this person encodes something and then sends it back, and then this person has to decode, and that's kind of, it just goes back and forth, and that's why slowing it down is really important. So take a look at this. There's going to be a PDF attached as well, and if I can figure out how to do that. And this is going to basically be your structure for understanding what goes on when you're trying to communicate with each other. Thanks for watching. Just pause it, take a look, think about it, think about the next communication you're going to have, and see if you can figure out a way to manage the noise and encode more effectively.